Okay, so this is the new In the Mud season review show with I Had a Wife '09 and my new partner in crime, Smack. Would never would have never thought of it, but here we are. Uh, you know, been doing this podcast for a little bit, and then I stopped. Um, and Smack said, when are we gonna do one? So here we are, and we're kind of in the mid of the season, and we're 3 seasons in the new named In the Mud franchise. Uh, Couple of new, well, not new, but one new owner and two commissioners, one new. Um, so far, there's it's pretty good. It's good. I'm not gonna knock it. They do what they do. We do what we do. What's your thoughts on that, Smack? Well, yeah, but I get what you're saying, but that hasn't been the first time that's happened. Uh, you know, and you know, going back a few Maddens, we had it in the rules where commissioners' mistakes because people were pissed that the commissioners would make mistakes and they didn't get penalized. Um, so we did kind of ad lib the rules, I think, a little bit to add, a penalty for commissioners. But given that uh, the new commissioner, well, let's go with the old Tim, legit Tennessee's been a commissioner for a minute, so he knows how to run this. Then you have yeah, Rich Too Wild who pushed in and said, "Let me try this out." I think he's finding out that it's not that easy because you got to deal with 31 other people and you gotta do stuff. You just can't sit back and say, I'm gonna start a league and it's supposed to roll on its own. You would like it to do that, but it doesn't do that. So yeah, mistakes are made. You know, that's just part of. Right, right. Well, I mean, Tim knows what it is. I mean, he's doing what he's got to do. I think if they may need to add one more person. That's just my opinion because sometimes with two people it's just not enough. I mean, me and Chuck did it for a Madness so, and after a while it becomes one person doing more than the other, and then it's just it becomes it comes an issue that shouldn't be. But anyway, so we're in season three. Like you said, season one. Um, I don't think the Super Bowl was simmed. I think I, I, well, that's the Eagles and the Pats. Eagles from the NFC. Yeah, and jeez, that's a good one. Um, let's see. I'm gonna go to users real quick. I mean, members. Run it. Yeah, run it up. Run it up. Says run it up. Reek 5. Right. So Reek. Yeah, he's made it there twice. Um, Low Sweater in both times the game. Low Sweater got the game got stemmed and Low Sweater ended up winning two of them. But he's yet to. All right. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah. Right. 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 But I still say until he actually or till they actually play uh, in the Super Bowl, there is no real winner. We did see. I think it was week two of last season, or was it week one of this season? Let me see here. Let's go back to week one. Let me see here. I'm going back here. Uh, I understand. I understand. I got the screen up. Yeah, so that sort of was the Super Bowl that wasn't played, and we see what happened with that. That was a week one matchup. So um, as I look at the screen, Reek does what he does, throws the ball, don't run, and Low Sweater does what he does, runs and doesn't really throw the ball. But they had a few turnovers there, both of them. But yeah, that's preview. That's a preview of what could be, maybe. Um, mm, well, I got to kind of correct you on that because it was 21-7 at the end of the second quarter. Philly was up. Philly was up, and yeah, and then Pats came in the third quarter and scored 14, which made it tied. And I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter, but he just put up 21 points and pretty much shut down the Eagles for that whole half. So, you know, that's just how that worked. But yeah, so that was sort of the Super Bowl, non-Super Bowl. So with that, we'll see. As we go in, we can take a look at some of the. Well, if you want to do let's go with the standings. So I'm pulling the standings up. All right. So I'm doing I'll do the AFC side. You could do the NFC side. How about that? All right. So right now in the AFC, the Ravens is leading the whole crew at 8-1. Chiefs is 6-2. Pats is 6-2. Raiders is 6-3. Browns are 6-3. Steelers are 6-3. Texans are 6-3. Jaguars are 5-3. Broncos 6-4. Bills 5-4. Chargers 4-6. And Jets, Titans, Dolphins, Bengals are all below 500. Well, Chargers, Jets, Titans, Dolphins, Bengals, Colts are all below 500. So at this point, it's still sort of a close race. Apart from the Ravens being 8-1, got a lot of 6-2s and 6-3s, and so even at 5-3, anybody can come in. Um, Actually, I think well, because if you look at the last two seasons, this is about what it was. So I mean, when we did the draft and stuff, and everybody took teams, a lot of the right, right, and he actually has won, I think, 4 or 5 in a row. Um, he's got to play the Raiders actually. Oh no, he's got to play the Ravens. He's got to play Rich. I thought they were going to play last night, but they watched the football game and it was like, oh, I'll play after the game, but never played. So yeah, no, no, it's all good, but they got to play. So I mean, anything can happen there. You know, Yeah, yeah. Ravens are 8-1. Ravens is on a 7 game win streak. I mean, they haven't lost since they lost to the Browns at one point. I think week two. Week so um yeah. So like I said, a lot of the better players are on this side of the table, which is what it is. So you never really should have the same person winning. But Pat's been there twice, so you know it's kind of wondering, one of these other players going to step up and try to dethrone the guy, and anything's possible. Yeah. Well, schedules change, teams get better. I mean, you're supposed to lose at some point. You're supposed to be, no losses. I mean, if people are actually playing and getting their teams better, they come in and they try to, do some things and get some wins. So yeah, they should have some losses. Yeah. Right, right, and that's one of the things that happened actually with the Browns. He started out, he was a little tight because his team was, cash strapped, yada yada yada. He was making some moves first couple of seasons. He couldn't get players he needed, and once he got rid of the quarterback, loosened up some money, uh, he drafted, and his team is a lot better. Actually, I watched his game last night against the Raiders. Um, it was a good game to a point, but some people just got a better handle on the game than others. I mean, he hung in there, but at the end of the day, he took the L. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. When you get to this level, you gotta, you know, that's the thing about this side of the map over here, this AFC. Like I said, I won't say that. I will say that they have the better players for the most part. So yeah, they're always going to be battling. That's why their records look the way they do: 6-2, 6-3, 6-4. You know, except for one 8-1. So they're all doing what they got to do. So we can go over to the NFC side, and you can tell me what you think on that. That's the Packers. That's as you ran 4-3-4. Nah. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, and the Vikings is Gaddafi. I mean, you know, the Rams is, I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't if you can't get more than 2 or 3 wins, and you gotta wonder what's going on with what you're doing. So I mean, hey, yeah, yeah. Actually, I don't know if he took the team. Uh, I don't even remember if he started out with the team. Um, I'm gonna take a look at the schedule, go to team schedule and see. Did he? I don't remember when he came in. I don't know if he came in at mid-season or he came in. Well, I'll give you that. At this point, the Cardinals actually is a new owner, and he's pretty much been dominant at 8-1. The Saints has been DJ I am Prime, I think, and he's been kind of consistent. I think he was in the playoffs last season. I mean, he's 7-2. I mean, so the Eagles is low sweater, and he's got that freaking cheat code on Barkley, and it's just hard to stop him when he gets going. But he could be beat. Obviously, he's got 3 losses, so somebody's figured something out. What's surprising to me is the Falcons because that's Ether, and Ether in the first couple of seasons was not a issue to have to worry about, but he seemed to figure something out where he's winning more than losing. Um, when you come across the Cowboys, well, he's 50-50. I mean, he can win, he can lose. Um, you know, so yeah. I, um, well, like I said, it's 50-50. It depends on who he's playing. He's not one of the best players, but he's a good player. I mean, you know, yeah. Uh, this season or this Madden? Well, no, this season he's up on me one game because we only played one, and that game went desynced, and then we had to play another. So it is what it is. Um, the Buccaneers, though, they've been consistent. Um, the Bears is on the Maybach. I mean, he's like I said. I mean, if we go look at people's schedules, we'll see who had sim games and who had a computer game because there's a couple of teams. So you know, yeah. Well, the thing is to get to the playoffs, and that's where we're at with this. And when we look at uh, right. All right. So where do we pick up on the uh, because if we look at top performers, which is on the right side, but you apparently I don't know where to scroll to get to the go to stats. Okay. Yep. Passing stats. All right. That's where we're at on the passing stats. Uh, um. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Ravens at 8-1. Lamar Jackson's got the most passing yards at this rate. It's got a high completion rate, 224, 291. That's a high completion rate. It's 76%. So he's he's playing the game. Yeah. Then you got the Texans right behind him. You know, 72%. Um, then you got again surprising Falcons, Ether. You know what I mean? I look at this and I see the guy was 236 to 324, but he's got third highest passing rating. And like I said, that's a surprising thing for me because when I played him, and I got to play him this season somewhere towards the end. You know, when I see stuff like this, but then you got Joe Burrow. Um, he's number 4. Yeah, we'll do the top 10. Then you got uh, the Patriots with Drake May. Then you got the Cowboys um, with Prescott. And you got the Chiefs with Mahomes. And then surprisingly, even though that the Washington Commanders isn't it has a uh, below average record, he's still throwing for a lot. So he's up there in number one, two, three, four. So we at one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eighth place over there. Ninth is the Cardinals with the new owner. He's got 2,900. And the tenth person is the Lions with those stacks. So yeah, the top 10 there. I mean, out of the top 10, the ones that are actually Mahomes, Daniels, these are guys I think you would expect to have good throwing records. Well, again, that's just either his game got 100, got a lot better. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's why he's at it. What is he, six and something? He's up there. He's got a. Yep. 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 All right. So let's go with the Russian. You could do that one. He's seven. He's seven. Seven. Yeah. Try it. Yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Yep. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Uh, so from there we hit the defense. Did we do receiving? Okay. All right. So we stay on the offensive side. We can go to receiving. Uh, of course, this 6'9", 220 pound guy got away from me in the draft because I knew I seen him and I could have had him, but I was on my remote and I missed him. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Pat's Ace Hunter, Ace Hunt. He's got 49 receptions for 1,396 yards. Listen, he's been leading the league for the last 3 seasons just because a lot of people can't stop him. I mean, he's gonna get the ball to him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hard to keep him from uh, catching. Then you got the Cards with Marvin Harrison with 67 receptions for 1,374 yards. Um, he's got 9 touchdowns. Then you got Jamar Chase on the Bengals with 57 receptions for 1,270 yards, 19 touchdowns. Um, fourth would be Randy Moss Jr. on the Titans. Ah, Randy Moss Jr. renamed. All right. So of course he's got 42 receptions for 1,244 yards and 12 touchdowns. Then you got the Texans with Nico Collins with 37 uh, receptions at 1,110 with 10 touchdowns. Um, two, four, five. Sixth is C.D. Lamb with 59. No, I got Jamar Chase. He was before Moss. Um, C.D. Lamb has 59 receptions, 1,105 yards with 11 touchdowns. Uh, Number seven is McLaurin on the Commanders with 54 uh, receptions at 1,078 yards with 12 touchdowns. Um, E. Cowan is number eight, coming in with the Raiders with 44. You would think the, the Raiders would have more, but I mean, okay, he has 44 receptions for 1,006 yards and 11 touchdowns. Number nine is Worthy on the Chiefs, 54 receptions at 941 with eight touchdowns. And number 10 is D. Metcalf, DK, 37 with 912 with nine touchdowns. So yeah, these guys. Uh, Again, the Cardinals came in here and he's mastering that team. I mean, he's causing problems. So we'll see what's up with that. Um, if you want to go to, I guess, defense, um, we can go. We want to start with. I guess we could line it up solo tackles. Um, well, yeah, you could do. We can do. Yeah. Well, so what would we do? Well, you want. Well, I mean, you know what? Let's do sack leaders. All right. So on the defense, sack leaders, we got the Ravens with Mike Green. He's got 10 sacks. Then you got Channing Tindall. He's got 10 sacks. That's the Texans. Then the Eagles with Nolan Smith Jr. got 9.5 sacks. Then you got, again, Texans, Danielle Hunter. He's got 9 sacks. Then we got Abdul Carter. He's got 8.5 sacks for the Giants. Then you got, let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 7. A. Hutchinson is number 8 with 8 sacks. Number 9 comes in with Jalen Walker for the Falcons with 7.5 sacks. And number 10, and I'm going to do 10 and 11. K. Pearson for the Cowboys and Odafe Oweh both have 7.5 sacks. So those actually, you would think, got the Ravens, the Texans, the Eagles, Texans, Giants, Lions, and Falcons and Cowboys and Ravens. So that's par for course. Uh, you can do the interceptions if you want to do that. Okay. You missed one. Yeah, oh no, you're going to him. All right. Because I reordered it. So what I usually do is go over to the interceptions and hit square and it reorders it, puts it in order. But go ahead. Yes. Yes, those are the guys that are in the lead for certain spots, I guess, to get awarded at the end of the season for best player, or whatever the case may be, rookie, offensive rookie of the year, and so on and so on. Um, so if we go in and we look at, we go in, we kind of look at the schedule, what's left, um, and we're in week 10. So for this week, uh, some games were played already and some weren't. Um, some key games. Um, um, yeah, and again, kind of surprising, but I don't know what Ether did to change his game, but he's winning. So, and that's what it counts. I'm looking at the Cowboys throwing has 7 turnovers, so I don't know if that's is that interceptions? Can't be passing. He had 7 interceptions. He definitely had an off day. He wasn't reading the defense. Yeah, but I mean that's what it is. Um, the other key matchup, I kind of thought Denver would have won this game against the Bears, but yeah, I mean it was 10-7 at the half, and then it kind of just got away from him. Yeah, and Chicago put up 14, and he only put up 7 in the third, and then he couldn't do nothing in the fourth. So, um, yeah, sometimes you get up against these teams, you don't know who's who, and you find that they're not as easy as you think. Um, the other one was, as we go down, that got played was the Cardinals and the 49ers. Um, Once again, the Cardinals was 7-1 at that point, and the 49ers, I think, was 5-3 or 6-3, something like that. Uh, yeah, I mean, the thing about, um, like I said, he's a new owner, and he has a handle on the game already. So, I mean, you got, you know, well, I mean, he told the man in the chat, this is his division. So, you know, yeah. So it is what it is. All the 49ers can do is try to regain some wins so he can get to the playoffs and maybe make it one more step. If not, but at 5-4, it's kind of hard. I don't know the strength of schedule. I don't know what he has, but I know you may need to do better than 9-8 or 10-7 or whatever it is. Um, right. You had the Raiders and the Browns play, and once again, that's that game was almost a 70 marker if he had got that last catch at the end of the game. He was trying to put up 70 on him. I fell apart at the end. I mean, I don't have any excuses. I mean, you know what? I held Barkley to a certain amount of yards, and all of a sudden he just gave him the inside run, and I guess he's got that um, joystick on him, man. He could run the ball. I just if he gets outside, it's hard to catch. Yeah, I made some mistakes. I did. Most of that was in the second half. And like I said, we were tit for tat going in. I mean, it was 21-21 at halftime. You know what I mean? And I messed around. I could have been 24. I made a bad pass, threw a pick when, whatever the case is. Yeah, and try to toss play. I know we talked about it, and I didn't get in. But at the end of the day, I lost the game. Even though I threw for almost 500 yards, it didn't help me. I still lost. But it's okay. It's okay. Once it's just one game, 2 games of the season. It ain't an easy team to beat. I mean, he does have some losses, but then there's always next season to try and get him. So, yeah, he got me this time again. You know, his team is his team is 90 rated overall too. On top of that, so it's kind of hard to. Eh, eh, well, no, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. My feet got stuck in the mud. How about that one? I got stuck in the mud. That's what we did. Um, so we'll see what happens with this Ravens and Steelers game later on. And um, wait, so what week did they play? Let me go. Let me see here. Go over the team schedule. Let me just go. Steelers. They played week 5. Um, I think at that point he just took the team over. Um, um, I'm not sure when he got him. I just know. Right. I mean, he might have played the Browns, I think, and then he played the Ravens, and the Ravens got him 42-20. But once again, he just comes in the league, and after that game, he pretty much won two. He's won the last 4. So you know, it appears that he has a handle, and none of those were sim games. So he's got a handle. He's putting up uh, 42 points a game, 40 points plus each game. Um, I mean, listen. Once again, anybody can win, and maybe this is loss number 2. You never know. You know. Hmm. I think he just made it. Um, Once again, somebody said something about regular season uh, is regular season and playoffs is playoffs. So you know we've seen people take 1 or 2 losses in the regular season, go into the playoffs, and get knocked out. It happens. Um, will it happen to him? Who knows? Like you said, he seems to be in tune. He hasn't lost a game in 8 weeks. So I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Yeah, you would think, but you got to remember the other teams that are in the playoffs didn't get there from just being mediocre. They got there because they were the best in their divisions. So, or in that on that side. So yeah, you can have a great record and you can go in and then you never know. You know, the one thing about this game is all about, and I hate to use the word, but algorithm. Sometimes it's with you and sometimes it ain't. Sometimes it's just what it is. So you can get in the game and your guys play like crap. I mean, I've had where you do the weekly strategy and you put in all this different stuff and you think that's going to help your team. Then you go in the game and it's like, well, these guys are playing like crap. What happened? So, you know, again, we'll see what happens with that game. We'll see who ends up where. We're only in week 10. We still got 7 weeks left. And anything can happen in 7 games. People that, and I've witnessed this from last season, people that were up, all of a sudden were on the reverse side by the end of the season. So, you know, you know, well, I mean, you gotta tighten your game up. You know, I gotta tighten my game up. I mean, it's what it is. You know, people don't go in and scout people's teams, and they don't look to see who's who. You know, if you don't do your homework and try to implement something that's doable. I mean, you know, in a game you may have to change your strategy, but if you go in with a strategy and you go in with all this extra stuff they give you to help your team out, you know, visually anyway, um, you know, like you said, sort of like what the Cardinals said. Hey, I'm the one calling the plays. I'm the one doing this. So if it works because I'm doing it, not because of anything else. That's his attitude, which I guess is a good attitude to have. So I think there's guys that are gonna. I think I'll give it this one. This is season 3. So you figure we may get 3 more seasons if we don't go the distance before guys start falling off. So season 4 to me is a season that will actually say guys should have their teams totally where they need them. To me, if you've been doing your strategies, you've been doing, you've been drafting your pieces and stuff like that. You're 3 seasons in, so if you haven't figured it out yet, then and if you have figured it out, that's even better. But teams are getting better. That's why there's teams that are in the running that weren't in the running last season. So I give it one more season for people to get maybe 1 or 2 more pieces to where they can't have any excuses as to why they're losing, except for the fact that they're just not playing up to par. So, well, yeah, I mean that's all anybody wants. I mean, apparently, it's not fair to the guys that get there that you know human error causes them to not play, but you know things happen, like I said. So at some point they'll get the game in. They'll make sure they don't mess up. That's why maybe they need another person so that things aren't always stuck on 2 people and one person just doesn't do enough to help the other person or whatever the case may be. Communication is key. I always said that. I always said that through all the Maddens, even when you're communicating to play your game or you're communicating, uh, what I noticed, I don't know why the kick meter changed on me, and when I played my game, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't change the kick meter. So, is it, Well, I mean, no, no, okay. Let me tell you something. No, well, I'm looking at the online settings, and either they were fixed or they were never. Um, so so here's what I say to that, and I don't care who don't like it. Settings, once again, that's the thing that you just got to periodically go through and look at, make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Uh, you know, now I thought I'm looking at the play call cooldown. I thought it was 5 and 4. It's fours all the way down now. So it's offensive play call cooldown, 4 plays. Offensive play call limit, 4 plays. I thought it was 5 and 4, but I guess not. Well, it counts for when you're calling your plays. If need, it does matter to an extent. But at the end of the day, it's something. If it's like that to begin with, fine. But like I said, I'm looking at it. I thought it was 5 and 4, but for some reason it's 4 and 4. It's four. I could be wrong, but it is what it is. I mean, that changes a little dynamic because some people, if they don't know, might have thought that, you know what, you know, after the fifth time I can't use, or whatever. I mean, or after the fourth time, whatever it is. But anyway, if something got changed in the settings, uh, you know, ain't but two people who have a finger on it. And unless Madden did an update and it changed it, well, it is what it is. Your rosters, yeah, you should. That's the thing about commissioning. Certain things you think somebody is doing and they're not, or certain things that you don't think need to be done and brought to your attention should be, but don't. I mean, you know, even when there was 4 commissioners, things just would mess up too. So it's not so much how many people you have as to who's doing what to make sure that things are running smooth. Um, and and if you need help, you gotta just you need help. You gotta say, hey, you know what? We need somebody. Like they needed somebody to check the rosters. What they do? Check the rosters. You know what I mean? Well, it wasn't on him to check, but you know that's a communication thing. You know what I mean? If you know you're supposed to do something, you take care of it. It don't take long. Ain't like if you can get on the game and you can play Call of Duty or you can play whatever other games outside of Madden when you're on here, and you could sit there for however long and do that. You can take ten minutes out and scan things and make sure everything is running right. So you can say, yeah, I did that, so somebody can't come back to you and say, yo, what happened here? Uh, or why is so and so doing this and you not? You know what I mean? It ain't that hard. It ain't that difficult. It's just whether you want to commit to it. But yeah, Right. Well, in understanding Tim, uh, Tim isn't laid back, but I mean, if you bring something to his attention, he'll look at it. Um, Rich, on the other hand, I think is laid back in that, I think the understanding is one advances, the other does the other stuff. So if all you're doing is advancing, then you're not really worried. And if you're not doing that correctly, then you need to look at that. But at the end of the day, it's just more than, one person shouldn't have more on their plate than the other. You know what I mean? So yeah. Or communicate, because I keep saying that communication is key. You communicate. Listen, I didn't get a chance to do this. Can you take care of it? And if not, like you said, maybe you need another person to just do certain things. I mean, the, and what's surprising to me, they have a uh, trade committee. So they do have two or is it two or three other people involved in, right? But those two people should, they 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 could look at stuff. They don't have to have uh, access to the controls. But if you say to that guy, because all you're doing is waiting for somebody to put a trade in the chat, you tell one of them, hey, well, why don't you take over this part and check this? I mean, you got four people technically. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I mean, either way, we can come back down the line and take a look at the playoffs to see who finally made it, and then go back on this, and say, hey, you know what? Like we said, 7 games left. Teams go up, teams go down. Who remains the same? We'll take a look at that and see who made the. You talking about as far as the team goes? Uh, um, the only well, my goal is to get to the playoffs. I mean, I got there once, didn't get far, but I got there. So I'm 1 for 2, um, and just the team is building, making the team better. That's the key. You know what I mean? You get the players you need, and you build them the right way to help you keep moving, and then try to mentally not make the mistakes that'll kill you, because that's usually what it is. It's usually a mental mistake that or somebody's just that much better than you, and there's not really much you can do but try to hang in there and weather the storm and maybe pull it out and win. Um, but yeah, most of this is not the teams; it's pretty much the owners and what they do. That's my belief on it, and you know I got a question for you, but thinking this because I seen this last night, and a couple of players uh, do this at points, not all the time. But what do you think about this swerve catch, so-called swerve catch? I call it I call it pass interference catch, but so-called swerve catch. Right. No, I mean, there was a few owners that do it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, because there is no, it technically should be pass interference. I don't really care what people think when you run into a player and push them to the one direction. They don't what you see and they say, well, you see it in the NFL. No, what you see in the NFL is a person running up the field and they may push off and go left, but they don't run you out of the play. And this is a CPU, so there is no call because you would definitely get offensive pass interference the way it's being done. But they don't have that. Well, well, wait. Last night at the end of the game with the Browns and the Steelers, I mean with the Browns, if you go watch that game at the end of the game, uh, the Browns and the Raiders, uh, he tried that play one play before the end of the game. He threw a deep ball and he ran to the right and cut back left, and his guy dropped the ball though. But because that's where he was. Yeah, I know. I didn't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, I guess, like you said, if you can do it and get away with it, fine. But there is no, there is no, no pass interference. Yeah, it's just so you can't. But if the defense, what they call it on offense, um, it's not pass interference, illegal contact. But that's rare. That's if you click on a guy and run into somebody, they automatically call that. But um, I can agree to disagree with that. But it is offense driven. But you know, again, man, I mean, it's what they made it, and that's what we got. So that's what we got to do. But I was just wondering your thoughts on that. I think visually, because a lot of the stuff that they're giving you, it was there, but it wasn't visualized. All these abilities and stuff were part of. Some of them were actually part of what was built into the teams. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, they gave you, uh, for superstars and players. What they did was they actually gave you for regular players because traits, you know. So is this a better Madden? Yeah, because they're giving you all this stuff to try to. Uh, it's almost it's almost mutt type. I mean, if you go play mutt, it's crazy how you know teams are, but they Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they definitely did a better job with this game. I mean, the last two games they had to because, you know, there was a game that was just I mean, they just messed up one Madden so bad that people, they caught so much flack behind it that it was just like, you know what, y'all better come with something, you know, and yeah, they got smart about it. It is a better game. I mean, it does give you more to do, does give you more stuff to use, but like I said, even in using that stuff, the algorithm has what it has. And a lot of people don't realize that. why, why am I throw? Wait. Why did the ball go over there? I didn't throw it there. I didn't pick that play. And it's like, what? What do you mean? So it's like, it's a game. No, you hear that from people. You hear that from Brent. I didn't pick that. I mean, I look at it. Oh, and there's still some quirks in it where they only put 10 people on the field. So they got stuff to still have to work with. You know what I mean? Where they're not, So I mean, yeah, it's a better game per se. I mean, it's more fun in the sense that you can kind of make your team what you want it to be, um, and you know, and play. I mean, that's what they did. What they need to do, what people were mentioning, is they need to make it. See, but it's hard to do because when you take one thing out and put something else in, something else messes up. What I'd like them to do is make it. They had in one Madden, I forget which one it was, where you actually can practice with your team outside of the franchise. Um, and they used to have that. Now, but because that was years ago. That was one of the things that was big. I wish they went back to changing the lobby to where they had the lobby where they had north, east, west, south, and so on, where you can go in different lobbies and play people from different areas. That was a good one too, because that's where we used to recruit people. We used to go in, and you could recruit people like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like now where you kind of just whoever you get to play, you play. And if you want to try to recruit, but you should be able to actually look at owners' names uh, and records and be like, oh, this guy takes losses, so he doesn't mind, playing. Maybe he'll play, and that's how we recruited people. So there's things that they could add now that would make it that much better. But we'll see what happens. Remember, they sold their company, so we don't know who's doing what with it. So, but for right now, it's fine. Uh, All right, so I think we've covered just about everything at this point. Um, I'm taking the Steelers +7. Yeah. Uh, well, I'm just giving him some points. And if he can hang in there and not let it get away, you know. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, Smack. It's great doing podcasts. We will get one more in at the end of the season. Checking the yeah, stuck in the mud, checking out the playoffs, who made it, who didn't, uh, and we'll go from there. So, all right, that's it for now. We will get back at the end of the season. Um, Thanks again, and we're signing off. Mid-season review show. We're out.